Pickle, believe it or not, it is Tuesday.
TUESWAYS.
And on Tuesdays, we talk with the Hall of Famer, the co-host of High School Scoreboard Live on Bally Sports Southwest, the host of Light the Tower down there on the Horn in Austin every weekday. We're joined by the great Craig Way. Craig, it's good to talk to you for the first time in an hour.
How are you guys? Hey, I'm still having trouble processing something you said on my show earlier this morning, Tap, and I want to see if you can follow me along on this deal. Okay. You were asked by my co-host Jeff Howe about if you'd really gotten into a deep dive and were breaking down the effects of the new NCAA rules against cut blocking and how it affected slot T offenses.
Right.
And you gave a really good answer. But then you also said, I haven't really gotten into the DCTF lab with my lab coat on to figure it out. And I just got this vision in my mind of you and Pickle and Matt's, my gosh, Matt's dad, and everybody else, all the staff, Mallory, everybody in the staff, all in lab coats with test tubes and Bunsen burners, trying to figure this thing out. It's a vision I can't unsee right now.
What I want is you do radio. Radio is a theater of the mind. That is what I want. I want people to be envisioning me and Ishmael Johnson holding beakers, like with different colored liquids in it, and this somehow being connected to what's wrong with the Geronimo Navarro offense.
We did have to order Tepper like extra big lab goggles because his head's so big. So just
well, I mean, you think about this. You guys like to talk about nerding out. I mean, now that's taking nerding out to a different level. Is all I got to say about that. I mean, no, that's not theater of the mind, Ted. That is horror theater of the mind. I just want to say that. But okay, that's okay. I'm trying to process this, like I said.
So, Craig, we are now 2 weeks into the Texas high school football season. Just an overall take that I had that I issued just about 30 minutes ago was that I thought that overall, with obviously some clear exceptions, but overall, week 2 of the Texas high school football season probably served to calm more waters than they served to chop them up, so to speak. That coming out of week 1, there were a lot of teams that were maybe looking around going, oh no, what's going on here? And for the most part, I would say week 2 served to make it a little bit more a little more of a calming effect. Is that something you can go on board with?
Especially if you're presenting as your poster child for that, Allen.
Yes.
I think so. So yeah, there's and yes, for every action, equal and opposite reaction, all that kind of stuff. Since we're still in the lab here, but in looking at it, there are the exceptions to the rule. We spent some time talking about the surprising 2-0s, the surprising 0-2s, but it's only 2 weeks in. So, that it's easy to draw the overreaction on an 0-2 Aledo, an 0-2 South Oak Cliff, an 0-2 Lake Travis, an 0-2 Brock. It's easy to draw that. By the same token, does that mean that it's just as hyped up about a 2-0 Leander, a 2-0 Boys Ranch, a 2-0 Mineral Wells? I mean, so that's why it's such a small sample size right now. To roll back to your cup blocking thing, it's a small sample. It's probably going to take a little further research, a little more lab time to get a better read on it.
Yeah, we need more Bunsen burners. It's Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Join us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. All right, Craig, then let's go that opposite way, because we spent a lot of time talking about, we even did a segment on Scoreboard about, oh man, these surprising 0-2 team. Brock is 0-2. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Let's flip that. And we've talked about, we've asked, okay, who are we hitting the panic button on? I want to go the opposite side of that. Who's a 2-0 team that maybe you didn't expect to be 2-0 right now, but you think is not a fluke? That you think this is the real deal. this 2-0 team is maybe they're not just a product of whatever brought them to that 2-0 record, that they are the real deal that we should be talking about in a serious way. Is there a 2-0 team that strikes you that you say, all right, you know what? I think I'm going to buy some stock in them?
I think it depends on how much stock, where the stock leads you. In other words, are we talking about a 2-0 team that was not good in recent past or even as recent as last year that now all of a sudden is a playoff contender, or you think will be a playoff or a deep, deep contender? If you're talking about a playoff contender, yeah, you could say Elgin. Mm-hmm. Sure, you could. Given that the wins that they had, you could say that. You could say Hayes, since they moved down from 6A to 5A. I think you could do that. And then there's probably some other ones. What's the one school you were pointing out in the tweet? Alba Golden hadn't given up a point. Yeah, the Eagles hadn't given up a point yet this season. So things like that are some markers that you see early in the year, and you go, okay, because they've done this to this point, it makes sense. It would be silly and ridiculous to say Highland Park falls in that category, because they don't. They flat don't. But they are a 6A program, and to beat, back-to-back 6A Louisville ISD schools in Marcus and Louisville High, at least it's worth noting that they seem to have kind of seamlessly made that transition into it. So, a case can be made for it, I would say.
I'll throw another one out there, and maybe it's just because of the smoldering wreckage that was 5A Division II this past week, but what about Argyle? Argyle's a team making the leap up. I think there was a lot of questions about whether or not they could contend in 5A, and now suddenly they find themselves the number one stinking team in the classification. Part of it is because there's been, debris raining from the skies in 5A Division II, but at the same time, they got a great win over Lovejoy. That's a team that I look at 2-0 and say, all right, maybe as far as a deep contender is concerned, that might be that example of a team that we had some question marks, but at 2-0, I'm going, okay, maybe this Argyle team is going to make that transition pretty seamlessly.
See, now you've gone and done it. You've angered Todd Rogers again. That's how that happens. Now you put him number one there. Todd gets to be the modern day version now of active coaches getting angry at you now that Phil Danaher is retired.
Yes.
So now it gets to be Todd. No, it's an excellent point, and this is another one of those wrinkles or byproduct of the prisoner of the moment thing when we talk about teams like Highland Park or Argyle. They step up in classification, but we are so accustomed to seeing programs like that. I'll give you another one, LBJ down here. Yeah, they dropped their season opener to, by the way, a good Maynard team. That's another 2-0 that I'm buying even as a 6A. But they look much more on par in pretty much handling a solid, if somewhat surprising 0-2 Weiss team. So those teams that have excelled at their classification level over the past several years, there's just something inside all of us that's expecting them to continue to do well, even as they move up in classification. Whether that's a fair assessment or not, we come to expect it. And so far, Highland Park and Argyle and LBJ, I think, have delivered.
Craig Way, let's do the thing that we do where we're mean to each other. I'm going to give you 3 games, although you were even meaner to me on your show, but that's neither here nor there. I won't air the grievances live on worldwide television. What I want to ask you is, I'm going to give you 3 games. You can teleport to one of them but you can only teleport to one. You can either teleport to Galena Park for Galena Park North Shore and Spring Westfield. You can teleport to Dangerfield for Timpson at Dangerfield, or you can teleport to, let's say you can teleport to Prosper for Rockwall and Prosper in a state-ranked 6A matchup. Which one are you going to?
That one was kind of on my radar as one to. I said it when I was reading your state rankings this morning, and I said it was. That's going to be a really juicy matchup. to watch. But I'm gonna go along with you. The two of us will stand on the sideline for it, and that's North Shore Westfield, because you mentioned it earlier, and I agree. Now, for the second week in a row, you've left a Westbrook top 5 matchup off of the list. You left out Westbrook Jonesboro last week, and you've got Westbrook Rankin on the outside again, and I think it's right there with it. But probably for the purposes of this discussion here, I'm with you on this one. I think it would be North Shore. We get a better measurement, or not that we don't already have a pretty good sample size on Westfield, but we get a real hunk of one this week by watching. Yeah, I view it much in the same prism as I did Katy Atascocita last week, and I think it'll be a similar type thing this week between those two.
Okay, and finally, and this is not a high school football question, but people may not know this, but because you're just high school football guy here on Texas Football Today, you are also the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and they have a big game this weekend against Alabama. I'm not interested in asking you about your take on the Alabama-Texas game. You listen to the
You're
Horn.
the only one.
Listen to the Horn in Austin if you want to hear Craig and Jeff's take on Alabama and Texas. Here's my question. This is an 11 a.m. kick. And I know where you will be at 1 a.m. because I'll be with you in the Las Colinas studios outside of Dallas at Bally Sports Southwest doing High School Scoreboard Live. My question to you is, give me the rundown of how the hours of, let's say, 1 a.m. until 11 a.m. are going to go for you on what will be Saturday morning.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I know, and for folks who don't know, Tepper on the air during a commercial break of the show last week, just past the midnight hour, put out a call and a plea for coffee.
I did.
And he was largely ridiculed for it and didn't get it.
Never got it, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, you did? They brought you one?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I said you were largely ridiculed for it and didn't get it.
Good.
Yeah. So
That's not healthy.
You did not get it. So I was going to offer you, a big coffee. It's kind of like that line from the movie Trading Places where they go liquor and tobacco, all you want. I'll give you as much coffee as you want, plus a ticket to the game, if you'll drive down and drive me so I can sleep on the way back. Because otherwise, it's just me driving back by myself. So that's probably what's going to be. I'm not going to wait for the morning because it is going to be sheer madness here. ESPN College Game Day's here. Fox's, whatever, Big Noon Kickoff crew is here. Tickets, even high-level upper deck tickets are going for the upper 3 digits to 4 digits now to get to. It is sheer lunacy around here already for this game, and I expect it to be at a fever pitch on Saturday morning. So I'm not going to go back to the hotel and sleep a little bit, then get up and drive in. No, I'm turning around and driving straight back down after.
Okay, well, see, it's a great offer, and I appreciate your offer, but it doesn't work because you're missing one key component, which is that if you and I were driving down to Austin, you wouldn't sleep. We'd just talk about high school football for 3 hours.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. It's a good point.
He's Craig Way.
You're right.
He's the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Hear him on the Horn in Austin every weekday on with Jeff Howe on Light the Tower. Of course, you can hear him call Alabama and Texas coming up here this Saturday morning. Craig, appreciate your time, my friend, and I will see you on Friday night.
See you guys then.
Bye, Craig.
There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.